Hello everybody. Today I'm at Allerton Park in Monticello, Illinois. We're in central Illinois and this is a free park to come and see some beautiful statues. Let's go take a look. Our first stop in Allerton Park is the Vine Walk. It was created in 1950. The Vine Walk is located on the northeast side of the property. It consists of a long, narrow, grassy walkway enclosed on both sides by an 8-foot-high wire trellis, covered with a mixture of trumpet vines, wisteria vines, and bittersweet. The Vine Walk brings you to the House of Buddhas. The lower part is an octagonal concrete tower built in 1917 that houses 2 gilded teakwood Buddhas from Thailand. The sculpture is a copy of a 7th century Cambodian statue. A circular iron stairway leads up to the ornate New Orleans-style cast iron gazebo, purchased and installed by Robert Allerton in 1924. Take the time to climb to the top of the gazebo. The view of the Foo Dog Garden from here was spectacular. So then we walked to the end of the Foo Dog Garden and turned around and had this spectacular view of the gazebo. The Foo Dog Statue Garden was originally commissioned in 1932 to display Allerton's collection of the ceramic statues. On the north side of this garden stands the House of the Golden Buddhas. The focal point of the garden is 22 Foo Dog statues mounted on concrete pedestals. Standing behind the pedestals are opposing rows of fir trees that form the garden's outer border. Okay, so now we're going to hop back in the van and we're going to drive down to the visitor center where the formal gardens are. It's a quick, short little drive. You could walk it if it was a nice day. This time we skipped the visitor center. We didn't have a lot of time and I knew we had a lot of ground to cover. Tucked behind the greenhouse is the oldest garden on the Allerton estate. The brick-walled garden was constructed in 1902 and is characterized by its tall, red brick walls. It was originally a vegetable garden with bean trellises and a dipping pool in the center for irrigation. There are 8 stone fruit baskets and 6 orb finales, or globe stones, in this garden. And do you see along the wall there? Those are apple trees that they've trained to, yeah.
Huh. That's an interesting way to train a tree.
Yeah.
Somebody loves to trim those hedges, boy. Christmas lights all over them, I see.
We made our way down a tidy bush-lined path to 2 statues called primitive men. The 2 husky, rather block-like men push great chunks of rock on their shoulders as they laboriously emerge from the earth. We circled back to the greenhouse and saw these 2 lovely Assyrian lion sculptures at the entrance to the Triangle Garden. The Triangle Garden was created in 1908, but didn't take on its signature triangle appearance until arborvitae were planted in 1925, redefining the garden. At the other end of the garden were 2 more Assyrian lions. On top of their towers, they beckoned us down a tall, narrow hedgerow, which brought to life every fantasy of labyrinths and secret gardens our childlike hearts could remember. Our side quest led us to the statue of Adam, first man. In 1924, Robert Allerton purchased the bronze casting of Adam, then had a stone copy made for his Monticello gardens. A short side quest brought us to the peony garden. We were a little too early in the season,
but I'll bet in May this place would smell amazing. Quickly, we go back to the Adams statue and continue our quest. In 1975, the Adams statue was damaged by a visitor. What you see is a copy from a local artist that replaces the original. Our adventures bring us to the Chinese maze garden. This garden features 2 sets of hedges trimmed in a variation of the ancient Chinese symbol shu, suggesting a maze. A large fish fountain statue stands in the center of each maze. Connecting the Chinese maze garden to the sunken garden is the Avenue of Chinese Musicians, featuring a mix of 10 different designs within 12 statues, each standing 27 inches tall and representing flute, drum, and string instrument players. While they are often referred to as Chinese, they are delightfully Western faces with Western instruments. These statues are 1977 copies of originals that were damaged by time and wildlife. The Avenue of Chinese Musicians serves as a proverbial musical interlude on your way to the sunken gardens. Our grand adventure through these mystical gardens ends at the sunken gardens. Its beginning a bit less glamorous than you might think. Before the sunken gardens was created in 1915, the area had been used as the estate's garbage dump. The sunken gardens features a large open grassy area sunken below the usual ground level, surrounded by walls and with 4 towering Balinese-style gateways. Atop the gateways are bronzed guardian fish statues called sashis. This is a popular garden to rent for weddings and celebrations. From here, we retrace our steps back to the Visitor Center's parking lot and take a short drive to my favorite statue in this park.
It's kind of dramatic in the sun here.
All these dark slanted shadows. Yep.
Yeah.
The approach to this statue seems a bit surreal to me. Set in this woodland scene, its larger-than-life sends shivers and amazement up my spine every time I see it, the death of the last centaur. My imagination begins to soar as I try to envision what the centaur would have been experiencing with so much pain and anguish on his face. As you approach, also don't forget to note the 4 pillars in both directions. This is a statue by French artist Émile Antoine Bourdelle. Half man and half horse, the centaur represents the musician Ciron, who offered his own life in exchange for that of Prometheus, the benefactor of the human race in ancient Greek mythology. The park's 2 major trails on the north side of the Sangamon River intersect here in the shape of the cross. A set of 60 concrete steps leads down towards the river, and 4 massive pillars stand at each end of the cross path. Okay, back in the van for our last but certainly not least stop. The Sun Singer is a 16-foot full-size casting sculpted by Swedish artist Carl Miles. It stands on a 3-tiered platform base. The statue depicts the Greek sun god Apollo. On his helm is the winged horse Pegasus, and relief figures of the 9 muses surround the base. Under his right foot is a tortoise, an allusion to the first lyre made of tortoiseshell by Hermes and given to Apollo. Allerton Park was created by Robert Allerton beginning in the early 1900s. In 1946, Allerton donated the grounds and his home to the university. The park is described as a fantasy land of neoclassical statues, Far Eastern art, around a huge European-style garden. It became a National Historic Place in 2007.
Look at that. Yeah. This is where the GoPro does its best.
We drove about half an hour to Weldon State Park and camped overnight. It was a great last activity for our trip. We spent about 2 hours at Allerton Park, but I could see this park taking all day if you wanted it to. There are miles of hiking trails we barely touched. This was a pretty amazing park, and if you like statues, formal gardens, and adventure, this is the park for you. Thank you for watching. Everyone have a wonderful day.